Let me tell you a story most people would rather forget. A story buried deep in the soil of Africa, hidden behind vines, bones, and blood. Long ago, in the heart of the jungle where maps turned blank and the trees whispered in tongues older than time, a man was born. They called him Patha Saka. He was no ordinary man. They say he was born during a moonless eclipse, and when he cried for the first time, the drums of the earth answered. Towering and powerful, his skin was dark as night, and his eyes shimmered gold when the firelight hit them just right. He led slaves through the densest jungles, beyond the reach of whips and chains. To his people, he was a savior. To his enemies, a curse. But he was not free. The colonists saw his strength, his endurance, and they turned him into something less than man, more than weapon. They forced women, dozens, then hundreds, into his path. And through their cruelty, he fathered over 120 children. From different mothers, from different tribes. Most of them never knew each other, but some were born with his golden eyes, and something else. By the time Saka reached the age of 120, he still hadn't aged a day. His body was untouched by time, but his soul, that was rotting. And one night, led into the jungle by his own son, the 100th child, he was betrayed. The boy's name was Mbako. He claimed he had found an enemy camp, but it was a lie. It was a trap. And there, beneath the watching trees, Mbako raised a stolen rifle and shot his father through the chest. They say the jungle went silent for 3 days. His body was buried in a sacred tomb, deep inside a forbidden forest called Nkosi's Breath. The elders built it from stone and silence. With him, they sealed his jewelry, ancient rings and bones said to be carved from fallen stars and the spirits of the mountain. And then they vanished. No one dared return. For over a century, the tomb remained hidden. Until now, in 2025, for young explorers set out from the city with cameras and courage. Nia, Omar, Mila, and Darren. They were filming a documentary. Lost Kings of Africa, they called it. In a dusty market in Nairobi, they found a half-burnt journal. Its final entry scrawled with one name, Patha Saka. They traced the legend to a fading dot on the map. A forest with no entry, no roads, just whispers. Omar's grandmother had warned him of the drums, the jungle that watches. But Darren had laughed. Ghosts don't guard tombs. Greed does. They hired a local tracker named Ebony. She didn't smile much, but when they crossed into Nkosi's Breath, she tied a red cloth around her wrist and muttered a prayer in an ancient tongue. The moment they stepped into that jungle, the world began to change. Their compass spun useless. The GPS failed. Trees twisted in unnatural angles. Every night, they heard it, faint but certain, the beating of drums in the distance. Not music, a call. Then came the dreams. They dreamed of a man with golden eyes watching from the trees, of children with bleeding mouths, of roots pulsing like veins. Nia woke up screaming. Mila found herself drawing strange symbols in the dirt without knowing why. Omar swore he saw something crouched in the shadows, tall, grinning, bone-crowned. On the third night, Ebony disappeared. They searched until dawn. All they found was her machete stuck upright in the earth, and beside it, a single child's tooth, fresh, bloody. Still, they pressed on. They found the tomb just after noon. Hidden behind moss-covered stone, it was colder than the air outside. Inside, the walls told the story. Women kneeling in terror, children born with golden eyes, and Saka bleeding into the earth, smiling. In the center was the treasure, jewelry that shimmered like oil, a crown made of ivory and something darker. Darren reached out, and the jungle screamed. After that, the descent was swift. Darren began speaking in tongues, ancient, cracked, and dry. His eyes glowed faintly at night. "I am Saka," he whispered. "I have returned." Nia's eyes bled. Mila whispered to herself in her sleep, carving runes into the tent walls. Omar tried to run, but the jungle had no end. Every path led back to the tomb. And then Mabako returned, not as a man but as a shadow. His soul was trapped, bound to the place where he killed his own blood. But he wasn't guarding the tomb anymore. He was hunting. Through Darren he moved. Through the blood of Saka he punished. One by one they disappeared. Nia walked into the river and never came back. Mila's final recording was 30 seconds of static, and then a voice whispering, "Blood must return to the root." Omar was found 6 months later on the edge of a border village. His hair had gone white. His voice was hollow. He never spoke except once. To a missionary nurse, he whispered, "You don't steal from blood. You don't wake the children of Saka." Back in the city, Darren was never found. But weeks later, a new cult began spreading online. A movement, charismatic, powerful. Their leader wore a necklace of bone and gold. His eyes shimmered. They called themselves the Children of the Root. Every member bore a mark, a golden crown over a bleeding tree. And deep in the heart of Nkosi's breath, the drums still echo, because Saka's legacy was never buried. And the 121st child is still waiting to be born.